This week's episode of Star Wars Resistance was called The Children from Tehar, showing Kaz help some kids escape the clutches of the First Order. The episode opens in the garage with Kaz helping Tam and Niku install a compensator onto a ship. On the one hand, he's become enthusiastic in his duties as a mechanic, genuinely wanting to help out, already showing some growth from his behavior in the Triple Dark and Fuel for the Fire. On the other hand, he's still kind of an idiot and he breaks the compressor. I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but this is the third or fourth time that the show has pretty clearly illustrated Kaz grew up rich and privileged. His immediate reaction is to offer to buy another compressor for Tam until she points out that he's broke. In the first two episodes, he tells other characters that he can pay for things by calling his father. But from what little we've seen of that man, I don't think it's likely he's funding his son's adventures with the Resistance, and Kaz doesn't seem to be totally used to living without that financial safety net. In Aunt Z's, he overhears people talking about a 20,000 credit bounty for a couple of runaway children and immediately thinks that would be a good way to be a hero and get rich. His first thought is that the kids are lost and that they need help, which is pretty obviously naive to us as the audience, but I'll come back to that. He and Niku run right into them, and Kaz picks up a little charm with a symbol on it. They then go down to the engineering level to meet with the Chelidai, or Shell Folk, turtle-like creatures who work to maintain the Colossus very slowly. But they also have eyes and ears all over the station, and they agree to keep a lookout for the kids. Shortly after that, they are summoned up to Captain Doza's office because he tracked Kaz down after the events of last week. I'm glad that didn't take long because Kaz has done a terrible job of lying low. Doza takes the charm and contacts Phasma, and I jumped the gun last week when I said that he accepted the First Order's offer of quote-unquote protection. He has not committed to that yet, but he still offers up information about the kids to improve their relationship. Despite all that, he is definitely starting to suspect the First Order is up to more than they're claiming. The Shell Folk find the two kids and contact Kaz and Niku. The children tell them that Kylo Ren destroyed their home, Tehar, and that they were the only survivors. The First Order wants to keep them quiet so the galaxy doesn't learn that they're running around committing war crimes, so they send Commander Pyre, the gold-armored stormtrooper, to track them down. This is very reminiscent to the story of the Tico sisters, whose planet was also used up and destroyed by the First Order. There's a chase down to the engineering level, and Kaz actually thinks up a plan that tricks the stormtroopers into thinking the kids killed themselves rather than be taken. It was a good resolution to the story that didn't make Pyre look completely incompetent, and was also organically built from earlier elements of the episode. A really solid ending. The Shell Folk offer to let the kids stay with them, and they even fix the compressor for Kaz. He gives the part back to Tam and then contacts Elo Asti to report in. A completely legitimate criticism for Kaz that I've heard a lot of people throw around, including myself, is that he is naive, ignorant, and sometimes downright stupid. There was a moment in this episode where I exclaimed out loud, "Oh, come on, Kaz!" I think the stupidity is played purely for comedic relief. It's a kid's show, and that's fine. But I do want to talk about his naivety, because I think that's part of his growth as a person. Like I said before, he grew up privileged, wealthy, and ignorant of what the real world or galaxy is like. He was in the New Republic Navy, sure, but when compared to the Resistance, they are still on the ignorant, heads firmly planted in the sand side of things, unwilling to acknowledge a growing threat. Yeah, that's easy for us to say as an audience who's already seen The Force Awakens, but the New Republic didn't want to believe the Empire could ever come back, and that attitude ultimately gets them destroyed. Kaz's time in the Resistance and on the Colossus is about him taking his first steps into a larger world. He's seeing what the galaxy is really like without the safety net of his family or government. There are definitely growing pains, but only 5 episodes in, I think we're seeing significant improvements to the way he behaves, and Elo Asti telling him that he's doing good work is a signal of that. I liked this episode. It kept up the momentum of last week's The High Tower. It seems like having the First Order be involved helps keep things rolling. Although I do want to point out that even episodes that feel more fillery have set up things for the future. Like back in the Triple Dark, Kaz is accidentally thrown down a chute into the lower levels of the station, and in this episode he remembers that and they use the chutes to escape. I thought that was a fun callback. And the last thing I have to say about the Children of Tehar is that it's the second episode in a row that has had an extreme lack of Yeager. He's still the most interesting character in the show to me, and I miss him. But all that said, it's now time to throw it to you guys. What did you think of the episode? How are you feeling about Cas's character growth so far? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and check out this playlist for my other videos on Star Wars Resistance. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.